Oh,
And we're live. Got Lena with us. We got Johnie and his petty squad. Johnie is back in the squad.
Well, Jan, you might have to mute me every now and again if I get carried away on a rant.
No, you can rant. You can F-bomb all you want. I was looking at a mug the other day. Wait, I have to be at least 8 seconds into a live to drop an F-bomb because YouTube, there's a mug I was looking at it and it says, fuck you, fuck me, fuck this, fuck that. Like literally says, fuck this, fuck that. It just goes on a whole list on this bug. I'm like, I need that bug.
Yeah, I want one.
I like how you show up when the cussing starts. That's what...
Hi, Lena. Hi, Johnie.
If you didn't see my thumbnail for tonight, it said another day of disappointment in the obituaries.
Yeah, right.
I'd be lying if I didn't check them.
Every day.
Oh my God.
Well, what's everybody got going on? What have you got going on, Lena?
Well, I'm just back with a passion. I had a lull. I think everyone has their rhythm of how they're feeling about things, and I'm just back with a vengeance. That's me.
Johnie is back in the squad. We're putting him back in rotation. We will be on Tara's Apprentice channel next week. So any of you new subscribers that haven't subscribed to Tara's Apprentice, you better get over there and subscribe to him so you can chat next week.
And you're doing more videos, Johnie, of Saga.
I'm going to try to do a live here and there. Get back in the swing of things, I suppose.
Mm.
Yeah, I noticed Secret Sounds of Coffee, which usually we're lucky if it gets 1,500 views on a video. No, it got 3,000 views this past Friday and growing. It's like Secret Sounds of Coffee I do with Gail from Spark Soul Therapy.
That's fantastic.
It's that need everybody has of wanting to have some normal time and get back to a little bit of taking care of our spiritual selves, right?
Because we were talking about, don't be inundated with, you have to watch it. I understand, because something changes every day. With the news, you got to look at it at least once or twice. But don't be in a vortex of just despair, because it can be very, very discouraging. Watch it, sure, but then go do something to balance that out. Watch something that has nothing to do with Trump and his. Anyway, go watch something else. Go watch something. You know what I watch every day, and it's ridiculous, and I know, judge me if you want, but I'm watching it every day. I watch camels eat cactus.
I'm sorry, again.
I find it so fascinating, and I don't know why.
I didn't know that camels ate cactus.
Yes, they do. And I like the crunching sound, too.
That's for ASMR?
I just sit there and watch them. They just eat the mess out of the cactus. And I'm like, they're just so precious to look at.
Those big old jaws just rolling around.
And then it's really funny when you see one of them eat a lemon and then they trip out and they start shaking their face and spit flies everywhere.
Right. Well, we've got lots of camels in Australia, right? They were brought in when the equivalent of the Wild West was our deep north, right? And horses would just die from lack of water. So someone brought in camels and camel drivers to, break through and take Indigenous lands and the usual routine, right? So now, because nothing kills them, we're overrun with camels in the desert. And then some are used as sort of showstoppers, like camels who drink beer and, endless camel stuff. You'd love it. You should look it up. I'm sure it'd be there on YouTube.
Yeah, I will. I have a Egyptian past life. Maybe that's my fascination, but they're just the greatest things to watch. I watch it all the time, every day.
I like watching the otters
Oh,
The
otters. Oh, this is Confessions of Junk Television. This is great.
I don't watch them on
YouTube.
TV. I watch them on TikTok.
Right.
You know, like orphan otters that are being taken care of before they're let back into the wild, but they're just the cutest things. Like all they want to do is play. So
Oh,
they're just
bless.
precious. Yeah. Yeah.
My parents, who were kind of weird, thought it was a good idea to give me as a baby an otter's paw on a mount. What were they thinking?
You know, I was watching this TikTok video, and I guess my algorithm started checking or started changing when I stopped watching other stuff and started watching the animal videos. I saved it and I sent it to Stephanie, but I don't know what the name of the account is, but these people live on a farm and they have all sorts of animals. They have goats and horses and cows. And you see the guy running. He's got his phone in his hand. He's running. So the camera's shaking. He jumps over the fence and he starts screaming, "Drop the goat! Put the goat down!" A donkey had a goat and he was just I was like, I've never seen that before in my life. It's like a donkey running around with a goat in his mouth. And the guy's like, "Drop the goat!"
No.
What's going on?
But there are beautiful feel-good animal stories out there, you know, when the Labrador adopts the guinea pig or whatever it is, you know, like
the rock star videos are so funny. I love watching them where he voices over for the animals. That Braxy.
No, Braxy's over there harassing Peanut now.
My binge watch this week I got into and kept watching was Erie, Edinburgh. And it's narrated by this guy with one of those beautiful Scottish accents that just rolls beautiful. It wasn't a harsh one. I think it sounds to me like the guy that was in Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Hugh Grant,
one of the guys that was in it, is narrating, but they don't post the name of who's narrating. I'm like, post his name. I think it's that guy because he has such a beautiful accent.
Yeah.
I guess the name of the channel, I guess people have seen that video with the donkey running around with the goat. I think it's called Useless Farms. That's what they were saying. It's a ruckus over there every day. I'm just like looking on my TikTok to see what the animals are doing because it's just a mess. Like it's a zoo. So yeah. But anyways, I have nothing going on.
Nothing going on? I was going to ask you what you got going on.
Nothing.
Honey, you got your class still going on, right? No, class ended?
No, they were practice classes, so they're not official classes. We meet once a month type thing.
Just a forewarning, I will be muting myself because the little monster has been on a rant today, so...
Oh, before you all came in, she was over there just doing the head tilting.
Bubbles. She's learned the word bubbles. So now she wants to play bubbles all the time. So,
well, for only thing for me, if you would like to sign up for book a reading with me, jenlintarot.com, or healing session combination reading, jenlintarot.com. If you would like to come to my healing energy seminar and learn to work from the astral body back into the physical, jenlintarot.com, click on the seminars tab.
Cool.
That's in October.
It's so important in this time to have those skills. So it's a great time for building up your spiritual tool bag. You know, good.
Absolutely. Well, we got to talk about it because it's petty boots. The little tiny Elon Musk, you're not the effing president. You need to go away. I want you to shush.
The demon.
Let me fix my nose and smear it. Trump just sitting there like doing nothing.
The demon spawn, that kid.
I know. I mean, some people are saying he does remind them of Damien in The Omen. I couldn't possibly comment.
You know who he reminds me of? Mini-Me. You know who I'm talking about? Mini-Me from
Mini-Me, yeah.
From that movie, $1 Million, and he's got little Mini-Me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the spy who shagged me. It's funny because Elon does have a son named Damien. In his 13 kids, we just found out number 13 exists today.
Yeah. But I heard some interesting gossip in the last few days. Someone dug out from his father from maybe 5 years ago saying Elon's such a bad father. He spends no time with the kids. And don't forget, he kept that child, Mini-Me, and his siblings away from their mother for 5 months while he bullied her into submission over childcare. Anyway, the father was saying that each child has a different nanny. And he said, that's not natural. Now, there's a statement from a white South African talking about nannies. I mean, whatever. And his sister just came out and said his teenage kids can't cross the road. Right? They're homeschooled. His curriculum, can you believe that? His curriculum. And the 14-year-old and the 16-year-old, their auntie said, I had to hold their hands to cross the road. What can you say?
When you got a kid named Tal Techno Mechanicus Musk, Mechanicus Musk. I mean, come on. These names that he names his kids. X.
It's like a form of child abuse in a sense.
It is, actually, when you add it all up, you know.
But his dad, who remarried after he divorced his mom, had a stepdaughter.
Married her.
He raised since she was 4, and then he married her and had kids with her. To his stepdaughter. Yep. So, you know, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. This family is screwed up in the head from the get-go.
Yeah. And y'all thought the Trumps were bad.
Imagine a family reunion with these guys. Oh my God.
Get a banjo for these live streams, I think.
It's so disgusting to think that, because my mind can't help but think that while his dad was raising his stepdaughter as a minor, he was grooming her.
Yeah, like the Woody Allen.
That's grooming.
Yeah.
It's called grooming.
Yeah. The one thing Republicans don't like, grooming, and yet they keep being okay with it as long as they're Republicans.
Well, there's states with no minimum marriage age. All you need is your parents' permission. Yeah.
So, what? I got a couple of questions. Will Trump ever allow little tiny X in the Oval Office again after he spears on his desk?
We just want a yes or no.
So, a quick yes, no. Will we ever see little tiny X in the Oval Office again?
Oh, God. No. Well, I'd say no, because he stole the limelight. I think no is the answer to this. Reclining here, followed by the Queen of Cups, because his mother wasn't happy with that episode going around the world, apart from everything else. So my money would be on I wouldn't hold my breath.
What you getting, Johnie?
9 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords. If Trump isn't there, sure. But that is the asterisk. He would have to be gone. I'm not saying leaving office or anything. He just can't be there.
No, just not in the room. But we both got that 4 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
What you getting, Becca?
Snake Clover Rider. Nope, that kid's already let out a bit too much.
Changes to the rules here. that kid because he's tarnishing my image. If you have to put him in a cage, I'm not having him anymore. Get somebody else to watch him. Trump felt betrayed.
Yeah.
So, of course, out of the mouths of babes do repeat what their parents say. They do listen. So what did Trump think when little tiny X said, "You're not the president. You need to go away"?
Yeah.
You're not the president. Think you
It
create a
was
vision?
stole.
Do you think, though, yes, children repeat what their parents say, and yes, out of the mouths of babes, and children are very honest because they don't have the filter yet. But you almost, I don't want to say you have to, but in most cases, you would have to have raised a child or at least been around the rearing of a child to know that little piece of information. Otherwise, you think the child is probably misbehaving and just being bad. Do you think Trump was making the connection that somebody else said it first and then the child just picked it up? Or is just a bad child?
He did it in the Tucker Carlson interview, too, back before the election. Look at Miss Braxy there. She's showing up good tonight. The lighting's better on her. It's your face. Oh, he was mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting too. In fact, I'd go as far, I'm the king, how dare you let that happen. Strategies have been put in place so it won't happen again. Like you say, Johnie, not when he's in the room. But look at the film noir I pulled, the setup. I think Trump actually felt set up on some level because it's all about me. It's all about me. So that's another twist in the tale. And Johnie, thank you for these cards.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Joanne.
I think I first saw them with Una on this channel.
I like Johnny's new deck he used in a video the other day, the horror deck, which I hope you pull out tonight.
The horse deck.
The horror. I had to listen twice. I was like, did he say horror or horror?
I think I got to go with the accent.
HOOOOR. It's like there is the world card. It wouldn't have been, well, probably would have. It wouldn't have been so bad if there wasn't an audience because he doesn't like to be humiliated. Now, who does? But it stings him more because of the narcissism. And so how do you make a comeback against the little kid type of thing?
Yeah.
And the influence would be the moon. So he doesn't know where to go and what to do about this situation, which tells me he wants some sort of retribution against Elon or this kid. Because if the moon is something underbelly, it's something underneath. The surface of the water seems very calm, but there's something underneath it. So you have to look a little deeper. You got to trust your intuition when you get this type of card. He doesn't really connect with that. So he's going more so to trust his rage and his vengeance. And so Three of Pentacles is the advice. This would be to work together with someone to get over this more than likely. But the King of Pentacles will be a thorn in his side until he is gone. This is his flag. This is his early flag. This is his early warning. What happened with the kid was not a coincidence. And so you either need to do something about your Elon problem now, which you can't, or you're going to have to do something about your Elon problem. Thank you, John. Later, or Elon's going to do something about you, and then he's going to be President Musk in acting or in waiting or however they call it.
I think you impish too. What you getting, Becca?
What did he think? Kid's a pain in the ass, but there's nothing he can do because he's linked to Musk because he was the one that gave him what he wanted in his victory. Ring, heart, sun, tree, and cross. Kid's a pain in the ass, but he's tied to Elon because Elon helped him get the victory that he wanted. so that he doesn't. But he's suffering for it. He's suffering, and he's making those sacrifices that he's having to make to accommodate that partnership, if you will.
Yeah. Here's Trump. Here's Alonia. Two peas in a pod. He is angry, angry, angry. He's stealing the attention away from him in the White House here. But, Elon put him in the White House. They worked together on that to obscure Kamala. There's also a long-time relationship I'm getting with Putin that he knows Elon talks to Putin a lot. That makes him very emotional, but he's feeling shut out. He's feeling like it's planned, premeditated to shut him out, to shut Trump out.
Yeah.
Have you seen that every interview that he's doing now is with Elon right next to him?
Yeah. Oh, that's been from day one. Just
So that's my next question. What does JD Vance think about Elon? Because he's not
present. It's him and Elon. Because
him and Elon. So what's JD Vance thinking?
He owns him. He paid $250 million for a country.
Cheap. That's not a lot of money for a billionaire.
No, it's in your sofa cushion.
Yeah. But we also know long-term Trump never stands by any deals or contracts, So sorry, what was our actual question?
What is JD Vance thinking? Because JD has ties to Peter Thiel, who's friends with Musk.
Yeah.
They've done business together before, so link to.
Oh, the Seven of Swords is getting a workout today. I'd say, look, same thing. And I was shuffling the whole time we were talking. He knows not just stealing the limelight of the White House, but stealing his role, right? His actual, dare I say, elected in inverted commas role. He's biding his time for now, having just given that frightful speech on the world stage. He's hoping that the stinky fish will come to land. He's just going, oh, look, this can't last, because he's not a stupid man. He's stubbornly standing by ignorance, but he's not fundamentally stupid. He's hoping there'll be enough bad news about Elon to send him off into the sunset. But that's just his wish. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
That's the thing, though, Lena. All of this is tied to Elon. Elon goes down, they all go down.
Yeah.
That's why he's living in the White House.
Exactly. But you're absolutely right, Becca. Their fortunes are literally tied together, up and down.
What you getting, Johnie?
Five of Pentacles. I think that JD Vance is waiting for the House of Cards to collapse. Eventually, Elon Musk, and I see some people say that Elon's not eligible to be president, that you're missing the point of when they say President Musk. You do not have to be labeled on paper as president to be president. All you need to do is buy one, and that's what we're saying when we say President Musk. He's even being called co-president by some Democrats because he's the one who's ruining the government too. And so there's the Five of Pentacles. He's kind of waiting for both of their opportunities to be shut, because JD Vance can stand there at the Maybelline counter because he's waiting for the Revlon counter to go down. All he wants to do is be president one day, because that's kind of, I don't want to sound so conspiratorial, but that's kind of the plan. Is Donald Trump gets in, Elon helps him. Both of them go down for whatever reason, boom, there goes Maybelline. So he's waiting for someone to be on the outs and then some new power to rise, the new people, the new energy. Which way did he go? 7 of Cups, plant the confusion, plant the seeds. That's also, I think, in the coming year, probably next year too, you're going to see a lot more stories about like, I don't want to say conspiracies, but there's a lot of seeds that are going to be planted about maybe Trump did this, and maybe Elon did that. Maybe you should look here. Maybe you should investigate here. They're not going to because they control the the DOJ. But all you need is the doubt. And then the MAGA, when they're losing their farms and their houses and their monies and their this and their that, then they start to believe the doubt a little more. And so the whole thing it's swelling to be something else. And then it ends and he gets what he wants. And so 9 of Cups, this is your hopes, your wishes, your desires. All he needs is for the plan to happen. And when you have 2 maniacal, what's that word? I can't say it now. Maniacal. That's the word. Maniacal. That was probably trying to push 2 words together there. The maniacal people at the top with Elon and Musk, they'll burn each other down. And you don't have to do nothing but sit back and wait. And so,
or you're going to OD.
Here's the thing to Johnny's point, though, to what Johnie was saying.
Egomaniacal. Thank you, Rosemary.
You don't need to look very far. They've admitted it. They've admitted it. It came out of their own mouths.
There you go.
I'm just saying. What does Vance think of Muscatina? The With the Sun, the Garden, Tower, and Book. He's very critical of him. Very critical of him in private, though, because it's in the book.
Yeah.
He knows what Elon did to disrupt and bring victory with the Sun to the party, to their campaign. Okay, but he has his own ambitions and he's just being hush hush about it. But he knows what they did. He has knowledge of it. He knows that there was a lot of that he was stirring up unrest on a platform, on something social. He knows about that, but he knows that victory is false. Their victory is false. They didn't win. He knows it, but he's got his own ambitions. So he's just biding his time, waiting, just waiting.
They're all power hungry. He thinks he's very erratic, and he has knowledge of what Elon has done, the treachery that he's done, but he thinks he's trying to blow up things in the name of corruption and everything too fast, that the courts are causing problems. JD's looking at his options. When he's in, he will try to block Musk from working in the White House when he's the celebrated one. He's already making plans about not accepting his help and everything, and how he'll say it to this inside guy. He's going to offer him something else to try to appease him, but he doesn't want him anywhere near the White House when he's in, when there's a change.
And here's the thing, John, like I was saying earlier, they are all tied to Musk.
Yeah.
You get Musk on a state level for something and you squeeze his balls just hard enough, he's going to squeal like a pig. Because no amount of money is going to get him a pardon or get him off the hook if somebody has the balls to do it. So I'm just saying, kicking the sidewalk through that one is what I'm saying.
I think it's more likely to come from another country.
Yes. Because
Germany and UK are both talking about doing Musk for a foreign election interference.
And then Canada has elections, I think, coming up too. Germany, he has his fingers and everything, but why not? He bought the US so cheap for $250 million. Why can't
bring him up on some charges at The Hague, and then he can't travel anywhere he wants to? He'd get.
I mean, like I said, kick in the door on that side and get those kids too, because they will scream. And I saw too that the Doge website, which is Doge is not even real. It wasn't approved by Congress. It has not been. It's just make believe, whatever. It got hacked. It was
yes,
hacked.
I love that. Doge got hacked.
And there's 14 states that are suing now. It's a civil case. It's not for money, but they're saying, this isn't an official office, and if you want it to be an official office, then you have to take it to Congress. Well, hell, they just put in RFK and Cash Patel, I'm assuming, is getting in. They will pass whatever Trump wants, so he could make it an official office just by telling Congress pass it.
At this point, though, he has gotten into every institution with no congressional approval at all.
And just laid off the Department of Defense guys that watch our nuclear weapons.
We
hired the wrong people.
300 of them. But they've also just sacked 200,000 probationers, apart from all the other things. We're talking, it'd have to be, from when I did my last video to now, there's been a growth of 250,000 lost jobs. 250,000 just between videos.
And how, let me ask
this is crazy stuff.
They're not getting severance or unemployment.
How is Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, which doesn't exist? How is laying off 250,000 federal employees going to help with the budget when now you're on unemployment?
Because it's not about that, as we know, but you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't make sense. And what I think is dragging the chain now is big business, in the sense of the usual big business, as opposed to the tycoon techies. They've held off because they don't think he'll go ahead with the tariffs, because they can't actually conceive of that.
Lena,
right?
I just saw the other day that he was talking about putting a 60% tariff on alcohol products. I don't drink. That's not going to bother me. But all those red states, they love them some beer and some whiskey.
Yeah, but this is sort of one of the bigger questions we're dealing with, I think. And please don't misunderstand me, anyone in the chat. I feel for you guys who are Dem voters who don't deserve to have your life upended by this buffoon. But it's like, better it happens hard and fast and gets resolved than dribble out over 4 years of people dying one by one of preventable illnesses. Like,
to what you're saying, there have been so many people that were diehard Trump supporters that are now seriously regretting their votes because they got caught. They thought they were voting for Trump. Guess what? You got President Musk. You have President Musk gutting everything. Alabama, one of the red states that's subsidized by us in the blue states because of one of Trump's executive orders. Guess what? Their utility bill for energy is going up $100 a month. They just lost their Medicare in the state. It's like these people are not going to understand until the pain lands on their doorstep.
Exactly.
It sucks that we have to suffer too, but maybe that's enough to break the fever. Because who would have thought that a convicted felon that is a lifelong criminal was going to lie and cheat and con you? We've been telling you this. Did you not see it the first time?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't vote for Donald Trump. They voted for hatred. He said he was going to do this, and this, and it was against people who didn't look like you. So they
thought they were exempt. They thought they were exempt.
Yep.
And the first time he did the same exact thing, just with different people. And so now you're getting it again. Your life didn't improve the first time.
No.
In fact, your economy trashed, your environment got trashed. Everything that was supposed to go wrong went wrong. They don't care about government efficiency. They care about destabilization. That's what they're supposed to be doing. And that's what they're doing.
And we have spent 4 years cleaning up his mess.
Yes.
In 3 weeks, he's done more damage than he did in the first 4 years.
And there's more to come, because babies are going to start dying of measles.
Oh, yeah.
Polio is going to come back.
They're cutting off people off Social Security and Medicare. That's going to be fun. I hope you have
22-year-old dying, couldn't get an asthma spray because it now costs $500.
All those people in red
it-
states that love Trump, that voted for him, I hope you have room in your basement to move in your mom and your grandma, because their Social Security and all their benefits are about to go away. So enjoy that extra bill.
I know.
You kill the Department of Education in the middle of the school year, which is going to be their next thing they go after. You know, working parents, what are you going to do if your kid's school suddenly shuts down because there's no funding? You know, you have no childcare during the middle of the day. And then guess what? Most average Americans can't afford a private school or a charter school.
Can I just jump in here from the global perspective? Like when I was an academic, one of the courses I used to teach that I love to death, and it compares different countries internationally and where developing countries are doing this and that and all of that. I've researched this area for 20 years. I have never heard of a country that dismantled its national education department. I don't think it has happened in the history of the world. Even autocrats, even authoritarians, they take them over and they dominate the curriculum and they manipulate the Department of Education. No one has ever closed the doors, let alone put a world wrestler in charge of it, which is just a mockery.
But Lena, that has been the Republican agenda decades in the making.
Yeah. And broader than that, the Republicans have been softening up the ground for all of this. They didn't think it would be quite like this, but softening the ground.
They're throwing all of Project 2025 at us as fast as they can, just to distract from everything else, because Elon wants to sell his stupid cyber trucks to the government. And
he already did.
Yeah, because we can't sell them to Americans. His business is down over 60%.
He's grifting. We thought first term was bad. This is a smash and grab at it almost
a whole new level.
It feels like hurry up, smash and grab everything you can before we get caught.
$8 million a day.
Yeah.
The average person on Social Security gets $65 a day. He gets $8 million a day from the government coffer, mind you. And when they go after wasteful spending and they go after the person, like that, some man just gave this speech, I forget his name. He said they're going after the person with the $65 a day, not the person with the $8 million a day.
Exactly.
Something's wrong there. But
things were already wrong. And I think this is important to remember too. Now it looks like the good old days, like a year ago or something, but was it? So the Dems were working really hard to make working conditions better for people, right? They traditionally do. But they've always been undermined and sabotaged by the GOP. So Walmart. Walmart workers earn so little, they qualify for benefits. So the working poor in America has been going on a very long time. So my optimism about all of this, and it's going to get worse before it gets worse and then better, is my prediction, that this will show capitalism for what it really is, right? I think the most unlikely people are finally going to go, oh, Jesus, I hadn't worked that out before.
No rules on how much they can do to us,
Yeah.
So here's my question, because tomorrow for President's Day, they've got the Not My President marches. I'm feeling a momentum towards kind of like in Romania and Georgia, where they have massive protests, massive. Yep. Are we going to see, with all these layoffs and all the insecurity and even MAGA people regretting their votes now, right and left, are we going to see a huge surge in protests against this regime?
I sure hope
because
so.
It is a regime.
Oh God!
Somebody asked, "Is he a dictator?" Yes, he said he would be on day one. Yes,
but here's the thing: democracy doesn't come easy. Like women didn't get the vote because men woke up one morning going, this isn't right. No, they had to protest, get arrested, get beaten, go on hunger strikes, be force-fed in cells to make it happen. The civil rights movement was not a gesture by white people to hand it over. We all know the history, horrific history of that struggle. And I think people need to realize this is the new struggle.
Democracy.
And the only way through is people power. So let's
the SAVE Act, which they're trying to pass now, is so they can purge voter rolls for anyone who can't prove they're an American. Well, how do you prove that? You have to have your birth certificate or proof of citizenship.
There's a loophole to that. There's a loophole to that one. If you are a married woman and you took on your husband's name, good luck voting. Because now your name does not match your
birth certificate, so you can't prove you're a U.S. citizen.
See, all this rubbish. The other thing, what I'm optimistic about too, on the other side of all this, where it's so bad, everything has to be looked at. There has to be a proper federal electoral commission, a real one, and elections need to be standardized in every state, like they are in every other first world country. This is crap. I can vote in Adelaide or Darwin, 5,000 miles away, and it'll all be the same rules.
You know how we have committees that go to developing countries to verify their.
Yep.
We need that here.
Exactly. International observers on the field. But the country's not ready for that yet. You know what I mean? Oh, they're not going to tell us what to do. They'll be begging to get them in by the end.
I think there will be protest. This is speaking more, keep an eye on globally. There's going to be a lot of demonstrations. This is near and far with the Page of Wands, because that's the card of discovery. And so it's a person that adventures, a person that goes out to foreign places and things of that nature. There's going to be a lot of voices or leaders that come forth, or people who motivate. So, and that's kind of, if you look throughout history, that's kind of what is the beginning of the turning of the tide type thing, to where you see the demonstrations and then you see the leaders pop up. Do keep in mind, though, that leaders are still human. So if they get vetted and it turns out they went to jail for drug possession or something, they're not the worst person in the world. Don't put all your hope into one person either. And so there are some people that will come forward. This is supposed to happen. This is the wheel of fate, of fortune. So this is what's supposed to be going on. In order for you to move past the tower and move past the devil, you have to go through those in particular things. And so there is hope with the star on the other side of both of those. And so you have to go through all of the things that we're going through, and then we will start to see some things change, and then some new horizons. This is over time, though. I don't want to paint the picture. This is going to happen tomorrow. So this is over time, but keep an eye on the global when it comes to protests too.
Yeah. Will I go, Jen?
Yes, sure.
I agree. There's a time lag here. Not enough people are there yet. You know, like if every federal worker who's been sacked is just dealing with that because they've got mortgages, they've got things in their personal pain. I'll come back to that in a moment. Look at these cards. Devil, death, feeling helpless, blah, blah. Outcome, though, people work out. We've got to work with each other, black, white, male, female, gender fluid, whatever, need to work together. And I think, yet again, wouldn't be the first time in history, a black woman coming up and speaking strongly. Could be a combination of Jasmine Crockett and even Stacey Abrams and stuff. I think it's, could be Kamala, but it's someone even different from Kamala, maybe someone we don't even know yet, but someone has to have cut through. right? And I'd put my money on it being a black woman. But can I just say something about sociology for a minute? We deal with the difference between the private and the public, and the personal and the public. Because in sociology, we see things in terms of systems. Who's got the power in the system? So if you lose your job, that is a personal pain. It is a personal hit to your family. Your world's turned upside down. It's personal, very personal. But if you're one of 250,000 or 2 million who have been laid off by the same guy, that changes the dynamic. It then becomes a public issue. Do you see what I mean? So I just think that's...
Will we see more protests? Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting they get bigger in abundance
Yeah,
out in the streets marching. This is the legacy.
Yeah.
Planning activities routinely.
Yep.
It's going to grow. I'm a little concerned. Will Trump try to declare martial law against protesters?
Yeah, let's have a look at that. But look, here's the thing too. I think this is a time for courage, and God knows America's got a lot of lawyers. So in all the big civil rights movements, lawyers usually offer their services gratis, for people who are arrested and so forth. That's part of it. But it has to be like rolling protests regardless. Yeah, this is
heard.
What are they going to do? Send us all out to Guantanamo, the entire country? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Numbers protect.
Yeah.
Numbers protect. But the actual question...
Will he try to create martial law?
I will say it's complicated. He wants to do something vengeful, yes, because how dare you go against what I say? But I think he'll find that certain systems, no matter who you are, still have a person with a heart and a conscience behind it. So you can send, like for instance, in Texas, the Dallas Police Department decided they did not want to cooperate with Abbott and Trump. They even started to demonstrate, some of them, with the Latinx community, because ICE is trying to, do the roundup and everything. And the Dallas Police Department said, no, we're not doing that. And so there's the tower. So it's going to get ugly, yes, but this is also a necessary ugly. The tower is always necessary, whether you are experiencing the tower or whether you're the one knocking it down. Something has to move, something has to break. It has to get ugly so that you can see what's going on. It's sort of like Trump when he said he was going to drain the swamp. He didn't say he was going to remove the creatures. Draining the swamp means take out the water. Now you can see them. And so there's that. And yes, there's an action here, King of Swords there. But it's not going to go as planned. This is not that you're going to just sweep everybody off the street. And keep in mind, determination is quite strong, especially if you're an angry or frustrated person. You can get me off the street today, but I'll be back tomorrow. Especially if I'm someone who has no job now. And so there is going to be a lot of demonstration, and you cannot hold everybody forever. So I don't think
that's what I'm getting. I agree, Johnie. It's like, yes, but he'll regret it. He's not happy at any show of force, and he wants to isolate the voices of the people. If he goes into military force with this, and what I'm getting is like Russia. If he tries to use force and corruption to change things, it'll end up burdening him.
Yeah.
So it's not going to work like it did in Russia, Johnny, or Donnie, little Donnie.
Yeah. And
Donnie, 47.
mine is 5 of Wands going around and around. I think this is both sides. This is protesters not quite sure where to go next and how to scale it up, and White House going, what are we going to do? We've got the power. And they represent the power of death, just old school end of democracy, which is a motivator, because should they bring out, and I think the answer is yes, at some point, people will go underground and come out again, because this is a karmic moment in US history. So it could be another Kent state, could be anything, but they're not going to get away with it. It's like it has to play itself out.
I get the the dog, the writer, and the birds. There's an advisor. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's Elon Musk or one of the Project 2025 people. I don't know, but they're in his ear. They're in his ear advising to take action and what to do.
I think it's Putin in his ear.
This is
somebody close to him.
Somebody close to him in his cabinet. One of the people he appointed, Elon Musk, one of the Project 2025 people, one of them that's close to him is in his ear. Telling him.
But here's the thing too. I don't think they're scared of the people yet, right? The marches, legacy media doesn't even show the demonstration.
But they keep laying people off that now have time to go march. Those crowds are going to get bigger.
They're at the beginning of the protest movement. And when that becomes more visible, when legacy media can't ignore it, or people are seeing it on social media every waking moment, then they're going to start their scheming. But here's a magic moment. What if upset MAGAs are protesting somewhere and they get arrested by the US Marshals or whoever?
Let it happen. Maybe that's what's needed.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
You got. And then he was floating the idea, him and Pat Bondi, of getting rid of the guns. I thought it was the Democrats that were coming after your guns.
I didn't hear this. What is this story?
Pam Bondi and Donald Trump in an interview, Pat Bondi talking about coming after people's guns.
Yeah, because you can't have protests with armed people.
With an armed citizenry. I thought it was the Dems that were coming for our guns. No, it's this guy, you dumb.
And this is why, right? This is why.
Remember, he probably only got 30 to 40% of the votes in the US. There's a lot of people that want him out of there.
I would be willing to put my head on the guillotine that he got less than 30, and 30 is being generous.
Yes.
30 is being generous.
So you got
he probably
70%, and I bet you 90% of that 70% are armed.
Yes, a lot, with a lot of guns.
Then we do people. So it's not exactly bright to stiff it to the American people so that you can have a heyday with our money and go tell us to go eat cake when the majority of the country has more guns than there are people. Not smart. You should have thought about this. Should have taken the guns first before you started screwing people in the ass.
They were saying that for Valentine's, more women probably asked for eggs than candy this year.
Yes. And you got to have a laugh in the face of the crap that's going on, But I'm hoping it has other positive effects too. So people can start creating cooperatives, whether that's in your geographic area or within a family network or neighborhood network or whatever, and buy in bulk and save some money, and you end up talking to people you wouldn't have before, and good things can come out of oppression.
Horrible times build community. 9/11 did. So people band together. So.
Yep.
I can't.
Ukraine is being left out of the negotiations with Russia and Trump and whoever else they're talking with. Macron today had in Paris a meeting to talk about Ukraine with Europe. Will Ukraine get enough weapons and support to continue fighting Russia out of Europe, because we know they're not getting anything now from the U.S. Will they get enough support out of Europe to fight off Russia?
It's so typical, too, to announce this deal without having one of the parties there. I mean, this is what Israel and Trump have done with no Palestinian representation at all.
Yep.
And let me just say, while we're shuffling, Vance's speech to the UN, which is one for the ages in terms of Europe is still reeling and furious. I mean, the Greeks would be sitting there going, we invented democracy. That's where the word comes from 2,000 years ago. I mean, hello. You guys have been a superpower for 5 minutes, 70 years. We've seen 100 empires come and go. You know.
Then you got idiots like Ted Cruz on Fox saying, everything's for sale, talking about Greenland. Everything's for sale. It's like, well, you are, Ted.
Yeah, that's
know
right.
that.
Speak for yourself. But no respect for anyone's sovereignty. But they've barked up the wrong tree with Canada.
Good.
I've never had a positive feel about the Ukraine and its defense against Russian invasion. Never had, still don't. So take what I say with a grain of salt.
Go for it.
And remember, with all the politics and the stuff and the crap going on in the world, if you have to take a break from it, take a break from it. Don't let it infect your energy. Your energy is more important than all of this going on out here. Because as Lena said, when it affects you, it affects you. When it affects a bunch, it changes the narrative, yes. But you still have to take care of you. You can't live 250,000 lives. You got to live your own. So protect your energy. The reason they're not invited to the negotiation talks because it's not a negotiation talk.
That's
it's not a truce. It's here's what we're going to do. And then they're going to take it talk. That's what it is. And they don't need them there for that. So the Four of Cups, yes, there is a blessing coming, but I just don't have the greatest of feeling it makes that much of a difference. There's the Fool and the Page of Swords. There's still some negative news, some things coming along the way, and the Ten of Wands, and it's still a burden no matter what happens. And so I don't get the rosy cards for this. It just grain of salt.
No, I think that's right. I think there's one fatal flaw in all this, which is if you're going to have any of these conversations, particularly when you don't have one of the parties there, you've got to allow them an exit to save face on something. And Hegseth has blown it. Vance has blown it. So they've left Europe very little wriggle room. So the cards I got for this from Film Noir is Kiss Me Deadly, meaning, as I take it, this is Russia and the US, right? You know, in cahoots. Act of violence. These non-negotiations are themselves an act of violence. This is another kissing one. Kiss the blood off my hands. I think this will be Zelensky's position in this, right? And the last one, in a lonely place. I mean, look at that, you know. So we'll see what Europe does. What did you guys get?
Becca.
Ukraine will receive aid or help, but it comes from a woman. I don't know what country has a female.
Quite a few. And also the head of the EU is currently.
Okay, it comes from a woman. There is a man that's not going to do a damn thing. So it's probably Trump. It's coffin book and man. He ain't going to do nothing. He wants them to lose. There's a woman that mails something or gives them opportunity via mail. It's over woman and letter. It's a woman that helps provides.
His whole thing with Russia was that the U.S. would get 50% of their resources.
He's over there making deals with Putin.
Yeah, he's making deals with Putin that we'll get 50% of your resources, just like he wants, Greenland for their resources.
We're going to take over the world, and we're going to divvy it up between you and me.
He's taking, here's the White House, here's Trump. His taking of the resources and everything, that's coming to an end. Ukraine gets support, and quite a bit of it, that they can remain solvent, so to speak, or can remain protecting themselves. But there's money, there's aid, that's coming, and that's going to be a big problem for the countries that are wanting to take it over. Ukraine, I get, is going to higher ground, so somebody's coming in and offering support.
I just wanted to put this out there. I cannot imagine. I have tuned out the news. I don't watch the news. I don't know what's going on because I just can't, for my own sanity, with the shit show that's going on. But I can't imagine how the rest of the world is looking at the U.S. and just having a meltdown right now because of our weaponry, our military force, and two madmen at the helm.
Yes, and exactly. The world's freaked out.
And a completely complacent political party.
Yep.
That are just like, go ahead and do what you want. You guys thought Hitler was bad? Hold our beer. Because now we have one that's a ketamine and plus 800 different kinds of drugs addict, and the other one that shits his diaper and doesn't know where he is. I would imagine that the world is going on with America, and they're scared. I would be.
Totally. And it's fully scary. But the other thing that's happening, and I think Americans need to be aware of too, is first time round with Trump, everyone was freaked out too. But the general thing was, look, hunker down, he has to go sometime, right? Like that was the overall reaction. This time round, they're going, no, he is too crazy. He is no longer representing an ally to us. So people are renegotiating trade agreements, just like Canada's now dealing with Spain and everyone else in the EU.
Canada's not buying anything made in the U.S. They're now buying, like even in their grocery stores, more Mexican products. So
they won't buy another American product for 50 years, right?
Yeah, they're already impacting our economy because they got a campaign going on, don't buy American.
But it's not just Trump, Lena, that's crazy. You have a crazy billionaire that bought this country for
absolutely, but he's everywhere too. And we all know Elon because he's interfering.
Everybody recognizes it. The entire world recognizes what he did, except people here.
Yes.
Refuse to see it.
Except on this channel. We recognize it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and most sane, decent Americans recognize this for the crisis that it is, right? For sure. But he's quickly making America a pariah state. Right, because there's new, not just trade alliances, but security alliances. So things that have just been
don't even go there. For what I do for a living, I'm sitting here going, okay, when are we going to be in code red? Because of Elon and his little minions getting into everything and leaving back doors and windows and everything open for anybody to get in. And God knows what they were doing with the information that they took.
And they've still got it. No, they've still got it.
Yeah, they got the information. So who knows who are they giving it to? Where is it stored? Who has it? And I guess it's not that big a deal because Trump had all sorts of stuff in his shitter at Mar-a-Lago.
Exactly. Yep. And that goes back to Merrick Garland being the worst appointment and doing absolutely nothing for all those years. So I think what about Anonymous? What do you guys think about Anonymous? They're the counter hackers.
I just, you know what? I wouldn't put my faith in them because they've talked so much, even during his first term.
They're big talkers. I was about to say the same thing. They're big talkers. I have yet to see proof from them when they hack somebody and reveal a lot to us. They put out a lot of idle threats. I think they used to be bigger than they are, but
It's probably one guy.
It's probably no. I think there's a group of them, but they're big talkers, and yet every time they say, "Oh, watch for this," and then nothing. Crickets.
But I wonder who hacked Doge.
Well, let's ask. Was that anonymous? Did anonymous hack Doge?
Let's have a look. Anonymous. I mean, I can understand why him or they are anonymous, but I don't like that AI voice that they use. I find that's just as creepy as anything else. Who hacked Doge? Let's have a look. Who hacked Doge? Look, this is kind of funny in a way. Well, what I've got, I think I'm not getting anything here that flags anonymous to me. I think just young people, right, who stole the information. Why? Because they could, or, did the break-in because they could. I don't think they're particularly deep thinkers either. They're not, I don't think, politically motivated. It's now a battle of the young people. Who's the better hacker? It's like the world's been turned into a giant video game, And I got the Emperor, and I'm not even sure what I think of that. That's normally my card for Trump, but I'm not sure what he's doing tagging on to the end of this reading. Oh, maybe they thought they'd just see if they could hack we can't even call it an administration anymore, the regime. That was just the challenge. That's my vibe. It was just a challenge.
I'm getting foreign spies here.
Mm-hmm.
Going through the internet, but people that would like to see Kamala come back, and I get they'll do it again too.
I hope you're right, Jen.
It's a power play against these young kids to let them know you're not so smart.
It's both one. It's a bunch of people. Now, whether a bunch of people got in or a bunch of people got information, that's a different thing, but a bunch, the abundance thereof.
So is it anonymous? I don't think so. I think it's more like people from NATO countries, spies, that are like, oh, we'll teach them a lesson here.
Yeah.
Interpol or something,
Yeah. Weird. Yeah, I would have been happier if they did something with it, We're just repeating a story in that sense, Doge was hacked,
So all these judges that are stalling Trump in all these different court cases, will any of these court cases make it to the Supreme Court?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, isn't it? There's so many of them. But will they make it to the Supreme Court? And will the Supreme Court actually backpedal from their stupid, irresponsible, gobsmacking immunity ruling?
Get these young Doge plants out who don't even have security clearance,
But how come they haven't been arrested? The world saw it all. No arrests. You smash a shop window, off you go. So these court cases.
Anything going to the Supreme Court?
Well, they go to the Supreme Court.
in any of them, because I'd like to see the Supreme Court forced to act.
Yeah, to rule. Yeah. I'm getting lots of pentacles. I think here the enemy is time. The court system's just too slow for what's happening again and still, right? Dragging
The damage is done.
Yeah, so I get, they're persevering, getting there, and they have to persevere. But in the meantime, they're dealing with the devil, which I take to be in this context the Supreme Court, actually. Like, I think it's possible if something gets to the Supreme Court, it would either not be ruled in Trump's favor, or they'd at least have a real argument about it. It wouldn't just be, oh, well, it's 5-4 this or 6-3 that. There'll be some genuine conflict about it, But I'm not getting a screaming, yes, they'll deal with it.
Getting Johnny.
I get progress is blocked for some reason or another. There is the Chariot and the Two of Swords in your legal card there, the Queen of Swords. So I don't think it makes it there. It's blocked some way, somehow.
And sorry, I forgot a card. Sorry, Jen. The Knight of Pentacles, which is the one that's not moving.
He's slow. It's hard work, but I get in America a class action lawsuit, one where they're banding together, has strength to go to the Supreme Court, but it's going to take a while before it moves. The Chariot is slow, just like that Knight of Pentacles. But I'm getting it's where multiple people have come together on something. I do get a yes. And it will defeat Trump is what I'm getting. So part of his agenda, whatever. One of those cases that the class action is going to make it that far.
And there's just going to be more and more of them. But each one will be appealed,
Yeah. So, Mayor Eric Adams. Will the New York governor be successful in getting rid of him?
Yeah, he's become another George Santos, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I wonder what's happened to George Santos.
I'm surprised they haven't forced him to reverse his lawsuits. That's probably still to come. Surprised Trump hasn't put him in his cabinet somewhere.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I've got the cards and now I've forgotten the question.
The governor of New York should be getting rid of Eric Adams.
Yeah. Well, these cards are hilarious. Okay. He got caught. The big clock, in New York City, so to speak, like tick, tick, tick. The raw deal. Here, whose raw deal? I think the voters' raw deal, right? And the last one was, you only live once. So if they get rid of him, it'll be a career ender, like in every way.
I think yes. He may be given the opportunity again to save face and leave on your own or something of that nature. He is currently trying to smooze the Trump administration. The Lover's card and the Two of Pentacles. And so this is a dance with probably the other side. They may be trying to do some bipartisan stuff to where he is full of corruption. He always was, though. He just talked the right talk, and he was the chief of police, and he looked very good on paper, and then he get in, and then he's that person. But there's the Tower and the Seven of Cups. Something will break through the confusion at some point to where they will have what they need to move him forward. There is the Chariot card and the Four of Swords. Again, I think he is going to have the opportunity to retreat from this, maybe save a little face with the Wheel of Fortune, TikTok. There is another person that they have in mind, and it ends in the Ten of Swords and the Four of Cups. This is an offer that you kind of have to take because the rest is kind of ruined and over. And Justice on the bottom. And so I think that they will be able to get rid of him and maybe give him one more opportunity to save face, because he was the chief of police, and he's, that whole thing.
Yeah. I get the thief will get forced to retire, whatever. I'm getting something really soon, really quick, an action that gets rid of him, pack his bags, he's going, he's done, he's toast. And then I would bet my bottom dollar somebody like Letitia James is going to go after him.
Well, so she must be frustrated. She may as well go after someone she can catch, But don't you love the way he would have been on the phone to Trump or the minions going, look, I'm a bad guy just like you. I am so corrupt. These are my qualifications.
Imagine a former police officer begging Trump for help. Right? Lord have mercy.
It's funny because in killing FEMA, now the Georgia governor Brian Kemp's all upset because he was getting FEMA money to help out after the storms they had last year from Biden, and now they get nothing. It's like he's like, I supported you, Trump. Why are you doing away with my FEMA money?
Well, why not?
Yeah, and that's going to be a big shock for the red states when they have major natural disasters and no FEMA. And those individual GOP representatives need to face up to people in the street and explain why.
But they've presented a thing to impeach Trump again. Will this go anywhere? Will we see Trump
I can't even read
and removed again?
Yeah. Not with this Congress. They will not impeach the man. There's no shortage of reasons to. They're not there yet. I think we're going to see a different Congress in a few months when all these things have had time to bite and they're getting wedged by their own people, but not now.
When their economy is so bad.
I don't know who she is. That's not Kamala for me. Mm-hmm. But this woman plays a very pivotal role in, I don't want to paint the rosy picture. Okay, so take what I'm saying as a person who speaks in hyperbole a lot. Okay, so she is pivotal in the downfall of Donald Trump. Again, I'm not saying that this is going to be what we think it is, to where he's out of office in next week, and I'm not saying none of that, because fate has already proven to us Donald Trump gets to defy everything. This man probably should have been dead 20 years ago just based on his diet. So we know he gets to defy anything. But whoever she is, because she pops up for every single one of my reads with this person. Yeah. She is pivotal, or it is pivotal. I don't know if it's even an agency or whatever it is, but pivotal to his downfall, because that's in the position where it needs to be. He's still right now the solution to a lot of their problems there, as in Donald Trump's administration. He's still the solution, because remember what I called him 4 years ago, the Sharpie. He is the person that will sign into law anything that they want. And so
Anything.
he is still the solution. So he is still very important here with the Hierophant card. He is still the person that they need. But some sort of magic and manipulation by this person here too. And I guess it's no coincidence she is the witchy queen, but there's some sort of magic and coincidence with this person. She is going to be pivotal in his downfall. Don't know why, don't know how, but we'll see when we get there, I guess. But no to the question. I don't think they're going to impeach him anytime soon, but
I get a yes, but it's after more people abandon him. He's going to do something that causes people to move away from him. They don't have the votes right now, but somewhere down the road, I think they will try again. I'd like to know, I thought this was a great question. Who is the head of the Republican Party? Is it Leonard Leo? Is it Musk? Is it a conglomeration? Peter Thiel?
I've got the same question for who's the head of the Democratic Party. This new guy's been put out. I can't remember his name. I don't know what he looks like.
Ken Martin.
There you go. And when was the last time he set you on fire with his scintillating?
I got about this much faith in Democrats right now. So
the mouse that didn't roar, you know. Like, so the question was, who's the GOP head?
Who's the head? Who's leading the Republican agenda right now?
Oh, you mean it's a tarot question?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The donor is what I get.
Well, yes.
The Six of Pentacles, that's the money being shelled out for someone. It's not, I don't think it's Peter Thiel, because whoever this person is, you don't see them. And so, or you don't see them as a donor. You may know who they are, like the MBS or something like that, or Putin or something. Like, you know who they are, but you're not drawing the direct connection between them and what you are with Putin. But you know what I'm saying. Whoever this person is, because this is hidden agenda, there's the secrecy. And you can find out if you dig far enough, but this person you don't see all the time, but they are a very, very heavy donor. And they are international, though, to where they go from here, they go there, that type of thing. So this may be more than one, of course. And so their agenda, though, is what's playing out with the destabilizations of governments everywhere.
Everywhere. It's a global. Yeah.
Exactly what I got, John. I think it's a group possibly of three or more than three, and exactly the same vibe. It's a global thing. Charles Yarvin isn't a name we're all familiar with, but he's the one behind the ideas behind Thiel and Musk and Zuckerberg and all of them. And he is not the smartest guy, as we'd say in Australia. He's 5 cans short of a 6-pack. But he does the hate thing really well, and Project 25 stuff and all of that is him. So I think it is a group, and the GOP itself are going to take the fall for this. Eventually they are going to take a big fall as people's lives completely unravel, and they're left with wittering on about wasn't it great in the 50s, right? So I think this is high-tech global, but the card I got was that was where the strength was. Big money. Big money.
What you getting, Rebecca?
Business. Possibly too, if I look at the pips, King of Clubs, King of Diamonds, there's a person that's the head of it, but he hands it off to the business to do the agenda. Does that make sense? Because it's clouds, letter, and fish. So if I'm looking at the pips, you have the head, the figurehead. That's just chaos, confusion, disturbance, chaotic, but he is he's giving it to an entrepreneur or a business person. So that's what I get.
Yeah, I get it's someone who, or a group who try to influence international things, and businesses. They work behind the scenes in secret, to grow their own power and wealth, to grow their own wealth. So the oligarchs, the Republicans are probably going to regret this, because in time it just all falls apart. It's like you can't have it all and everybody else has nothing. It just all falls apart. So.
With all due respect, Jen, I will not hold my breath, because the first time was a disaster. They sat by and let over 1 million Americans die, didn't even bat an eye so long as they stayed in power.
Yeah.
This time it's going to be worse. Way worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And what are they doing? Parroting the same thing. What do you mean Trump has to listen to judges? Judges can go pack sand. He can do whatever he wants. So even they themselves are telling you, we don't believe in the Constitution.
Yes, this is the real.
They're saying it's a oligarchy and it's a dictatorship.
No, they're saying his White House press secretary, whoever that girl is, the Constitution is unconstitutional.
Yes, yes. Now, this is the sort of stuff, right? But I think the problem for the GOP, seat by seat by seat in the Congress, like just in Alabama, we were saying at the top of the show about this utility subsidy going, right? Katie Britt, MAGA file, adores Trump, speaking out against it because her state is actually crashing before her eyes. And I think exactly. But this is they're not going to come to a decision, I don't think, as a party to do the right thing or admit anything, but it's going to be one by one by one by one,
I would hope so, Lena, because I have lost all faith in the Republic. They have had more than one exit.
Oh, multiple off-ramps.
Completely just stood by while he completely dismantles everything, and everything Joe Biden did unconstitutional and abuse of power. This guy's over here telling judges to go pack sand. We're not going to listen to you. We're not even going to abide by the Supreme
Party of law and order.
And they're like, yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
But this is the thing. I don't think the GOP can survive this. I actually don't think they can put a few Band-Aids on what is going to unfold in the next 6 months. And people are going to get very angry.
I would hope so.
As they watch their family members die of preventable illnesses.
Well, I think you're right, because I think the Republican Party has already died. And it's turned into the Trumpian, not even a Trump party. It's like, this is the Trump regime, like you called it. Like they have to kowtow to him, and the people that don't are leaving office, and then they speak up. And so it's like the people who are still there, who want to be there, have to be beholden to this man. They have to worship him, and that's how they keep their job. And so he killed their party a long time ago, which, I mean, good. So,
and also
you got to believe too, though, there's over 235 Republicans in Congress, right, between the House and the Senate and everything. They have brothers, sisters, relatives too that they're going to be hearing from when they're all in dire straits. Not all of them are wealthy, Some of them are making their $165,000 a year salary, but they've got relatives that probably make less. You have to care,
though.
You have to care. So somewhere, sometime, there's going to be a comeuppance.
How many
Republicans?
How many lawmakers had their own family members or close friends die of COVID, and they went on TV and said it's a hoax?
Yeah.
Or
Like
the opposite,
I
or
won't-
the other thing, Beck, too, go and have vaccinations so they survived while
Exactly.
saying don't vaccinate.
Yeah.
You know, so with that said, I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm kind of like, I'll believe it when I see it, sort of thing. Because at this point, like Johnie said, the party is dead. It's a freaking zombie walking around from Night
Yeah,
of the Living Dead,
totally.
eating brains. You know, like
It's
Congress
obvious that the
actually
Democrats
no
don't have
longer-
enough power to make something happen. So the only thing we can do is take to the streets.
Exactly. Now, there's a comment in the here from Renee. Protests will be a lot larger when the spring comes. I'm a senior and I can't get out into this cold, but I'm champing at the bit to protest those fascists. Bless Renee. Now, I'd just like to hog it for a minute, saying what you guys can do from now till the spring, even though there's a President's Day march and also Save the Constitution march on the 4th of March. But this is time to organise. Get your networks going now. This is something people can do. Even if you're a keyboard warrior and you can't get out anymore or whatever, get in touch with the big organisations like Indivisible and stuff. They'll tell you what's going on in your district, your area. People have to organise, because once the thaw comes in the spring, there's no good having even one giant protest. They have to keep going. It has to be, but look like the anti-Vietnam stuff, you know, which was the last time everyone took to the streets big time, you know. And people have to be organised to fill gaps if you have to do something and can't do this one. So connect, and consolidate networks.
Is Hakeem Jeffries going to stay as minority leader?
Well, he was a Pelosi appointment, and I think we were all very suspicious about that.
Lena, thank you for saying the quiet part out loud. Thank you so much.
Right.
Because
And then
that whole guard needs to shut up. And
all of them. They
all
have
of
to
them.
go, and he is part, he's not old, but he's part of the thinking of the old corporate Dems who just want a quiet life. And if only everyone would be decent, it'll all be fine. And, you know, it's la la land.
Ground yourself. When you read tarot cards, people out there, if you're wanting to learn tarot cards, remember these were not created for politics necessarily. And so it's a personal reading is always more accurate, and it's always a little less emotionally involved than this kind of stuff is. So when you are faced in politics with a question where you have a very strong opinion,
which is all the
then
time.
you must learn to center yourself, because you can project into your cards and get the answer you want instead of the answer that's there. I'm not really Democrat pro right now, and so but I see he is still there, and this is not in the cards, but this is part of my commentary. Okay, so disregard everything I'm about to say as opinion. Okay, how are you going to get him out if you don't want him there? Keep this in mind, that the DNC is still controlled by money. The donors still like the old guard. Nancy Pelosi was there for whatever she was there for because nobody could remove her. Somebody ran against her and they got shut down. They even got shut down on left-wing TV. So it's not as though there's not a person who can do the job. It's a person they won't give it to. And so it's not just him, it's the entire thing, because there are people here with the King of Pentacles, King of Cups, and the King of Wands who are going to keep him in place. I don't think it's going to be effective but at the same time, they don't really care about effective, they care about optics. And so this is why you concede in a race that you didn't lose, because they care about optics. Republicans care about strategy, which is why they keep winning everything. And so, again, centering thyself, I think he is still there because you cannot remove him.
I get he's still there too, Johnny. That there's some supporting him that keeps his strength there. He stays in power.
Well, I think his fortunes are tied up with the Democratic Party itself. Like, I would like to see on the other side of whatever's going to happen this summer, when all this tumult unfolds and stuff, the GOP will be a dead marine. And I think that the Dems too are out of touch. They're completely out of touch. They have to also, in a way, die to be reborn. And the damage will be such to let the young ones through. The talent, I've been saying this for 5 years, the Dems have huge talent in the second tier, and they will not let them off the leash, right? And they have to be off the leash because they'll be very effective as the new guard.
Undermine them, Lena. Nancy Pelosi actively undermines their upcoming progressives. She does.
And she would have stopped Kamala if she could have.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I don't consider Kamala, bastion of progressive, but she was so much better than the rest of the lineup. But this is their second tier. So in answer to the question, I think he'll be there until they all have to reinvent themselves as being part of the 21st century and not this rearguard action.
Did you see the press conference from Hakeem Jeffries? Basically throwing his hands up, well, we're in the minority, there's nothing we can do.
I know. You missed one.
And complaining about all the phone calls they're receiving.
And then complaining about the phone calls. It's do your fucking job. Pardon the F-bomb, Jen. It's do your freaking job. That's why you were put there.
Couldn't agree more. And before we came live, what was I saying, Jen and Johnie, about this? Exactly. He was so bad, I had to turn him off because he was just talking pillow talk, to somebody. I don't know who it was, but nothing to do with meeting the hour. Just as Merrick Garland didn't meet that time. He was probably great in 1956, not now. And it's the same with this. They've got to reinvent, because on the other side of all this, people have to see new faces and hear new voices and get given new ideas to think about. They need something exciting to hang on to.
See, I wouldn't mind the old guard still having power if they were as crafty when they have power as the Republicans are. Mitch McConnell has 1 foot and a toe in the grave, and he's still outsmarting the Dems at every chance. I don't know. There's nothing I can do. Nancy Pelosi,
it was shocking. I saw that interview. It was shocking.
But he's not going anywhere. It's good luck. He's staying with the anchor. No. Nope.
So will we see a move of U.S. companies to Canada or Europe? Will we see them moving out of the U.S. or Mexico? Will we see them moving out?
Question.
Like a surge
a lot of
U.S. companies
already are half in or a quarter out or whatever, because that's the nature of international supply chains. That's what the nightmare is, and the stupidity about these tariffs. Hardly any industry is purely Australian or American. Those days went,
they're all integrated. That's why we have a global economy.
Yes. So let's try and
I think it's ironic.
More obviously, just go. This is too crazy. We'll move full time to Canada or Mexico.
I think it's ironic that the MAGA's slogan, "Where we go one, we go all," is true because we have a global economy.
Absolutely.
Nobody said reading and educating yourself was a MAGA
priority.
Yeah, they're kind of dumb. They can't tell the difference between they, their, and their when they write, or your and your with the apostrophe for possessive. It's like,
darling, that's the fine print. They're wearing their made in China MAGA hats and have been for 10 years.
yeah.
They never take a look inside of the rim of the hat. Yeah, the farmers. I'm just kind of laughing because it's sad because they forgot how many went bankrupt the first time Trump was president because he screwed up the trade of soybeans to China, who's our #1 taker of our soybeans. I watched field after field of soybeans here in Illinois get sold off for housing because the farmers couldn't make it.
Yeah. And the ones that did make it were bailed out to the tune of billions, which Trump just did in a midnight moment,
which he just
and never talked about again.
Yeah, so now all the farmers are sweating bullets because they're not getting the money that Biden set up for them.
I've been seeing all of that all over TikTok, and same thing, Jen. Did you forget what happened the first time? Did you forget what happened the first time?
And
and then all of them were pissed except this one person I saw in an interview that was like, that's okay. We're going to have to suffer a little bit. And then he's going to help us out. He's going to help us out. Say that when you lose your family farm and you and your whole entire family are sleeping under a bridge because you went bankrupt, because the con man, if there's anything he's gifted at, is bankrupting himself and bankrupting everybody around
anyone he goes near.
And
that's the other thing about US aid that everyone forgets. People think of international aid. It's the same with Australia. Why do we spend so much on overseas aid? Well, that's because there's a dollar return for the donor country because you go over to another country with your fertilizer or something. Mm-hmm. You make the subsistence farmer sign a contract that they haven't read and don't get, that they now have to buy fertilizer from you for 10 years. Right? Yeah. So that's one way. The other way is US farmers, like Aussie farmers, are growing stuff that then gets bought by their government to send as US aid or Oz aid. So the farmer is going to get ripped off by the tariffs, by the subsidies, and by US aid.
They took away the
in
subsidies.
5 minutes.
They took away
the workers who are not in the fields.
We've always had a surplus of food that we sell off to the government and everything. So
they took away the subsidies, Lena.
Yeah.
That's why they're all, I mean.
Yeah, so this is a 4-way shafting for the that's before diesel goes up for their tractors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And modern farmers run on debts that are so eye-watering.
Very much
so a combine harvester, the last time I was involved with buying one, was $250,000. That was a quarter of a century ago. What would a combine harvester cost now?
You know what? And you know what, Lena? And you know what, Lena? Once this is all over with and done, and they're poor and they're broke and they're living under a bridge, eating cardboard boxes,
yes,
because that's all they can get.
Yeah.
They will still turn around and vote Republican again.
They will if they can. Yep, it's welded into the brain matter.
Somebody commented, they don't have to worry about who's picking the produce. They got nowhere to sell it.
Yeah.
It's just going to rot in the field. Just like the USA food is rotting in containers. If they don't have anywhere to send it, there's no need to plant it or pick it.
Yeah.
I get basically yes. The 3 of Wands is something fast approaches as well. Okay, 3 of Wands is that the plans are in motion. All you have to do is wait. And the Knight of Swords means that something may be speeding this process up to where, okay, well, we need to get out before whatever hits. So
exactly,
that's going to be something else there too. Now, I think the problem is, because remember this happened the first time because Harley Davidson, because they did a little interview with one of the workers and he said that he was losing his job, mind you, at Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
That he voted for Trump and he still believes in him because this must be for the greater good, is what he said. And it's like, okay, then you pay your mortgage with your greater good, but fine. But there's something about this that is cheered and celebrated. So that's kind of a scary field to where it's like, yes, go away. Yes, because it's almost as if people are encouraging the downfall. But it's like you said in one of your videos, Lena, I forget the term you used, but it's like you're in the situation now to where you don't know what's going to happen next, and you also don't know when it's going to end. And so if it just hits now, then we can at least deal with the brunt of it and then work on the recovery. And so that's kind of it seems like is happening, is it's all going to slap you in the face real fast, which fine, it's hard, but it's better now instead of it dragging on and you're going to be in constant anticipation. And
I believe.
That's it.
Well, my cards are really simple. Yes, businesses are freaked out about money and they're holding on to whatever they've got at the moment. Better believe they're on the phone overseas, boats going both ways here to the world, like crystal clear spread. You know what I mean? Like just, yes.
Mice, fox, ring. Yes. It could be manufacturing work, or there's a team of people. When I read the fox's work, yes. So it could be like some sort of manufacturing work or labor with the mice. People that, well, he's deporting all the immigrants, so there go all the freaking labor workers right there. Yes.
Yeah. I get a bunch of them move globally, an abundance of them to stay secure because Trump's corrupt.
Exactly.
And victory on that, like that, it keeps them afloat.
No FEMA, no subsidies, no. Yeah. She had the whole list there. Farmers were going to feel it. Yeah. They're all going to feel it, and then who are they going to blame? Joe Biden?
Yeah, they will for a while, but
so last Sunday I mentioned that I didn't want to send a dime of my money to federal taxes this year, that I wanted to file an extension or whatever, because why do I want to give money to felon Musk and felon Trump, right? To when they're killing all these programs anyway, so what are they going to do? They're going to put it in their own pocket. Well, Jamie Raskin
IRS this week.
Jamie Raskin came out on Monday and he said, I'm thinking about filing a class action lawsuit for all Americans. And if you want to opt out, you can. Meaning, if you're MAGA, you can opt out if you can. But for Doge hacking into all of our personal information and everything, and God knows what they're doing with it, selling it to scammers or whatever. Class action lawsuit with, let's get 100 million Americans behind that, right? And I'm like, that makes sense. Go after Musk financially. You hacked us. You got our personal information. We're having to spend all this money now to try to protect our identity theft and all that kind of stuff. Moving bank accounts and everything else. Go after him financially and make him pay money to Americans. Is Jamie Raskin going to do anything with this? Because I think it would be brilliant.
Yeah,
I would definitely, because I said if I could afford it, if I could afford a lawyer, I would start a class action lawsuit by all Americans. So I thought it was hysterical when he said it.
There should be pro bono lawyers queuing up for this stuff.
Yeah, for this kind of thing. When Raskin said it, he had a whole bunch of people standing behind him too, and it's like, okay, they're in discussions about this. What's going on?
So was he saying this, Jen, particularly in relation to tax because they've stolen all this information?
No, he was saying it in connection to Doge going into the Treasury Department and our personal information getting hacked.
Here's the thing. Elon Musk is a billionaire. We could all get $1 million out of Elon Musk and render him broke. I get a yes. Anchor the key, the sun. He has a goal that he wants to attain, and there is a ton of energy behind it. And victory and success. Achievement, significant victory, significant success, and energy. So yeah, we could all get $1 million. Thank you very much, Elon Musk. that $400 million contract you just gave yourself from the government on our taxpayer dollar. Thank you very much. I'll take that back. Thank you. Let's do it.
I think it'd be the only way to break Doge up and to get Elon out of there.
He has a fight on his hands. 5 of Wands there, of course. He's also having to gain some support, but the support from the public will be there. He needs some support from the other talking heads in the world. The wonderful thing about this is when Hakeem Jeffries, okay, go take a walk, sir. But not all Democrats are asleep. And so what we've seen, like with Letitia James, she is at work too when she got not only the NRA, thank you, Judy, but got Trump as well. Even if nothing came of it, she still did her job. And so thank you, Rosebloom. There's some people who are still at work. And so there is the devil and the 10 of Pentacles. He's going after a very big enemy, but that does not mean you do not try, because there is the Justice and the 6 of Wands. Something emerges to where a victory can be had in the courts. There's still a thing of, this and the challenge and the appeals and there's still all that rigmarole and bureaucracy. Okay, fine. But someone is still at work. 7 of Wands. He has enough fight to get to the higher ground. This is not overnight, but keep behind him. If you're going to put some positive energy out there, put it behind him in this especially. And so I think
By golly and Courtney.
Successful.
I missed one earlier too. Patty and Mary Jo, Miss Lady, Judy. I think this is great to get behind. I'm getting the same thing. It's got momentum to move forward through the courts here.
Yeah.
They would get a lot of people behind it, and fighting the corruption. This is like, there's a lot of dissatisfied people right now that I'll take a little chunk of change from Elon.
And I get all momentum cards too, and legal. So that.
But it would be poetic justice, considering that the reason that Elon Musk is a billionaire is because of our taxpayer dollars.
Yes.
All the government contracts that he took.
Yeah.
That we funded. Everybody here, with the exception of Lena, because you're not paying taxes here, but everybody.
I am.
$8 million a day he's making. $8 million a day. Why am I going to send anything to the IRS?
Yeah, well, that becomes another issue too. I think someone should start a class action. I'm not going to pay my tax this year because the government's been hacked. I haven't been reassured by the higher echelons of the government that it is safe for me to lodge my tax.
Right. The whole budget just got knocked out of the way, like everything that was approved. Why am I going to send them money that they're not spending the way that the budget was approved?
Yes.
What, Becca?
I mean, legal wording around
and then
that.
at the bottom, P.S. If Donald Trump is only paying $720 a year, if he pays, why should I pay?
Yeah.
Point.
Why am I going to send money in to pay for him to go to the goddamn Super Bowl?
Or Mars.
Not doing it.
The other one to Mars. No,
and where's our taxpayer dollars going to anyways? They've gutted the government. So what? Why
are they going to spend it on? They're killing FEMA. They're killing USA. What? They don't need my money.
I think it'll be interesting, won't it, this tax year? Because they've just sacked 10,000 IRS workers.
I thought it was just 1,000 that they were killing
10,000
IRS workers. Yeah, so they won't even know I didn't pay them.
I
live in a blue state. I'd rather given them to Governor Pritzker to keep up my roads and public schools open. So, final question for the night: did y'all see the clips of Hegseth drinking during his press conferences? I'm gonna give it up, during his whole confirmation hearing.
Yeah.
Drinking. I can't tell you how many.
Was he drinking water or was he drinking?
No, drinking.
He's trying to say it was water. It was clear. So
if it was water, I bet you we gave off some fumes. I bet you.
Yeah.
His preference is gin. Gin, you can get clear gin or vodka is clear. You know, there's a lot of alcohol that's clear.
You wouldn't
But
light
also,
a match
he
near
couldn't-
Pete Hegseth's water. I'll just
He
say
couldn't
that.
stand still. He does a lot of swaying and grabbing the podium and leaning on it. And
He
I
looks
just
like
wanted,
a drunk, right? He actually looks like a drunk. Plenty of functional alcoholics out there. You know, I know, you know, senior lawyers and stuff who drink huge amounts, but when they switch on, they switch on. He looks like a boozy jock.
when he was in his confirmation hearings, he took once in a long time a sip of water. This press conference, he is like, I mean, just over and over. He could not stop drinking it. And they're asking him tough questions, but I want to know, because he said he was going to give up drinking if he got confirmed, you know.
In the words of the late, what was her name? I forget. They tried to tell me to go to rehab, and I said no, no, no. Amy
Winehouse.
That's what I'm getting. Bear.
So I kind of like to know, is he drinking alcohol? And will anybody do anything about it?
I get that he needs to go to rehab.
He's a serious drunk.
His mother doesn't even like him.
Jesus. You know you're bad when your own mama don't like you.
Oh, there's his mother.
That's all right.
Oh, he's drinking a lot. Abundance, a lot. He's drinking a lot.
Yep.
He probably has a full bar in his office, dude.
Oh, I get they may make him go. That's what Department of Defense is a drunk.
I
mean, he wouldn't be the first alcoholic in that role, but like I said, he doesn't cover it well.
No.
And it's not that, it's also that he's completely inexperienced to be in that role.
Well,
They wasn't qualified to begin with.
Johnny, they all are. Nobody's qualified. Nobody is qualified. I'm surprised that he didn't hire the Hamburglar or the Count from Sesame Street from the IRS at this point.
He kind of did.
I was waiting.
Careful, he might be watching. He might be watching, and he'll do it.
Is he drinking? The 9 of Cups is your food and drink card, and it's he likes it. It's like the I like beer guy and Lindsey Graham, who I have firsthand account that he goes and he buys a big giant bottle of everything. You can see it. He's red in his kid.
He's always red faced.
There's he likes a lot of it. There's a bit of a concern though too. I would like someone out there in the investigation journalism world to look and see if he has ever had an accident that was paid and covered up some way, not covered up, but like there was a deal made between him and the person that he ran into. Because there's an accident of some kind here that involves a car with the Tower, the 2 of Cups, and the Chariot. He made a deal with that person though, because he was, I don't know, I guess a person of means at the point, and so he paid it all to go away, but he was inebriated at the time. But I do feel as though this is going to come back to bite him, because it's not as though he drinks socially or he just drinks every day, a glass of wine, glass of this. He likes liquor, and he likes like really hard liquor, and he likes it a lot. And so, I mean, you do you, but stay off the street. And so I think that's going to be his problem.
Will I go now?
Yes,
Have you finished, Johnny?
Yes.
Okay. I just pulled 2 cards from film noir. One is the reckless moment. The other is detour. So, you know what I mean? I think if you put the stories together, it's only a matter of time with Hegseth, and he'll be caught on camera, like real
He'll
time.
fall on his face like a Mitch McConnell, and everybody will be like, "Get up!"
Or
before we go,
like Johnny said, he might get into a freaking car accident where you can't cover it up.
Yeah, there could be, but the image is better. Now, I'll share an Australian story from a few months ago. We have the Country Party, who are the narrow-minded group. Head of the Country Party, he heads up the farmers groups, right? Barnaby Joyce, legendary drinker. Everyone knows he's a piss pot, right? Anyway, it was so bad. Canberra is our capital city. He was passed out on the pavement, right, with his just horizontal on the pavement with his mobile in his hand, just slurring and then passing out, right? He's not young, he's 50 something. Anyway, everyone filmed it. Everyone, before they rang the ambulance or anyone else that was filmed. It went around the world. But the best bit for Australians was they got someone clever on a computer, got every famous painting in the world with him passed out on it. So next to the Mona Lisa, passed out. Next to the Van Gogh, passed out. Oh, hilarious. Just hilarious.
That's like the guy from Tennessee that one of the state reps got filmed in Savannah, Georgia area, pissing himself while he was trying to do a DUI test roadside.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
His pants all over the.
That's going to happen with Hegseth.
Stay off the
He can't stop. He's hardcore.
What'd you get, Becca?
He needs to go to rehab.
Oh.
You muted yourself.
Muted yourself again.
Oh, I said he needs to go to rehab. It was Bear Lilies and Moon. Yeah, he's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised with Johnny's reading. I know Johnie said that it's already happened, or it could have happened already, or somebody uncover it. But I'm convinced at this rate, where he's flying so close to the sun that he thinks he's untouchable, I would not be surprised.
Yep.
If that's something that happens soon.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the super chats. If I missed anyone, we will be on Tarot's Apprentice channel next week because, as you see in Johnny's Petty Squad t-shirt, lifetime member, he is back on rotation. So we will see you on Tarot's Apprentice next week. Bye, everybody.
I had a buzz. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us, Lena. Always fun.
Total buzz.